Over 500,000 people have signed a petition saying they reject Muslim immigration into their country. What kind of bigoted, backward, white trash would dare do such a thing? Oh, it's South Koreans. Over 500,000 South Koreans. They even carried signs in the streets saying, "Don't be like Europe," and "Fake refugees go home right now." This was all prompted by 1,000 Muslim Yemenis arriving as tourists on a small resort island, then claiming asylum.
아는 건 이제 저기 젊은 사람 여자들은 많이 반대를 하죠. 젊은 여자들은. 왜냐면 걔들은 좀 나쁘게 생각하면 여자들 10살만 먹어도 겁탈을 한다고 하더라고.
그게 계속 보여요. 아니 내가 사는 동네는 출입국관리사무소가 있어갖고 계속 다녀요. 그러니까 사람들이 노인네들이나 여자분들 놀랜다 하는 얘기죠.
그곳에서 어떤 일을 한지도 모르는 상태에서 그냥 무작위로 받아들이니까 저희는 조금 위험한 것 같아요. 저희 입장에서. 그래서 그 청원에도 동의했고 한 상태고
지금 제가 아는 분이 그쪽 관련해서 일을 하고 있는데 거기서도 막 예멘 있다고 해가지고 다 취소하고 있다고 관광객들이.
When asked why he opposed Islamic immigration, one South Korean professor said his main concerns were pedo grooming gangs and terrorism. He also said that Muslims just don't integrate. He said, quote, "We have seen on television just how many problems are caused when a country like Germany or the UK is relaxed about immigration and the damage it does to societies." What damage? What's he talking about? I mean, it's not like teenage girls are being raped and strangled by migrants in Germany. It's not like when AfD members try to have a minute's silence in Parliament for these victims. It gets booed and heckled by leftists and Green Party members.
Die vorgesehene Redezeit widmen wir dem Gedenken an die in Wiesbaden tot aufgefundene Susanna. Sie wurde 14 Jahre alt. Aus der Erde kommst du und zur Erde wirst du werden.
Noch etwas zu sagen? Ansonsten würde ich die nächste Rednerin oder den nächsten Redner aufrufen. Die SPD und ich fordere Sie auf, das Redepult zu verlassen.
It's not like this young lady, a pro-refugee activist, was abducted and murdered by a Moroccan migrant in Germany. It's not like Christian girls are being bullied, beaten and abused in schools across Germany. It's not like a head teacher in one school said the solution to this was to cover them up with a hijab. It's not like the president of Germany's Teachers Association warned that anti-Semitic attacks and ISIS beheading videos were spreading like wildfire through German schools. It's not like Angela Merkel herself admitted in 2011, quote, "We have to accept the number of crimes committed by migrants is especially high."
Aber wir müssen akzeptieren, dass die Zahl der Straftaten bei jugendlichen Migranten besonders hoch ist.
Before inviting in 2 million more migrants, including an ISIS-supporting Tunisian who tried to make a biological weapon in his own home. It's not like the media asserted Donald Trump was a liar for saying that Germany had problems with migrant crime.
The United States will not be a migrant camp. You look at what's happening in Europe, you look at what's happening in other places, we can't allow that to happen to the United States, not on my watch.
While the media itself reported that migrant crime in Germany, specifically violent crime, was soaring. While 90% of the rise in violent crime was attributable to refugees, according to the government's own numbers. It's not like migrant crime targeting German citizens has risen 23% in a single year, according to the government's own numbers. It's not like Jews are being whipped and abused by migrants on the streets of Berlin. It's not like German police had to flee in panic when 200 migrants rioted after they tried to deport a failed asylum seeker. It's not like Germany is enforcing gender segregation to please their new inhabitants. That wouldn't be very progressive, would it?
Männer beim Schwimmen unter sich. Das gibt es in Deutschland bislang nur in wenigen Städten, wie hier in Mainz. Hier im Hallenbad in Beckum wurde das bis jetzt einmal veranstaltet und sofort hagelte es Proteste. Mustafa Shalabi hat den Antrag auf Badezeiten nur für Männer gestellt. Er ist der Vorsitzende des arabisch-deutschen Vereins in Beckum. Einige Mitglieder, sagt er, haben ein Problem damit, wenn Männer und Frauen zusammenschwimmen.
Den Antrag haben wir gestellt für unsere Neulinge. die gerade aus arabischem Raum gekommen sind. In unserer Kultur, da schwimmen nicht die Frauen und Männer zusammen.
It's not like students in Spain were kicked out of their own homes so that migrants arriving on the Aquarius ship with contagious diseases could be accommodated. That didn't happen either. It's not like migrants in Italy are barbecuing dogs because they say it's normal where they come from. It's not like a Syrian migrant stabbed his 21-year-old Swedish neighbour 130 times, then beheaded her because she made a racist remark. It's not like Germans are being told to avoid being stabbed by migrants by not letting them get too close.
Und Bürgerinnen und Bürger werden einfach sensibler sein müssen. Man muss nicht unbedingt Menschen nah an sich ranlassen.
It's not like women in Sweden are being told by police not to go out at night to avoid being raped. It's not like 1,400 underage Dutch girls are being forced into sex slavery each year by migrant background males. It's not like 93% of sex crimes in Finland committed by migrants are committed by migrants from Islamic countries. It's not like parts of Paris have been turned into a complete dump. With 400,000 illegal immigrants living in one suburb alone in tent cities surrounded by piles of trash, places like Saint-Denis where basic law and order is falling apart. It's not like Muslim activists are literally renaming streets in France from where the first Crusades were launched. It's not like Nantes had 5 straight nights of rioting by Afghan migrants, with a petrol station, shops, a community library and a school all being set on fire. It's not like migrants in France are threatening to rape female truck drivers as an intimidation tactic as they try to get to the UK, while attempting to hijack trucks by setting up burning roadblocks. It's not like an 87-year-old French woman was brutally raped for 2 hours in Lyon by a Moroccan migrant who later tried to claim the assault was consensual. And it's not like President Macron announced that mass migration was Europe's destiny and that hundreds of millions of Africans will continue to flood into the continent for many years to come. But why does any of that matter when this migrant in France scaled a building to save a baby? I guess that means we should just get rid of borders and laws. Why this dude didn't grab the baby? Probably best not to ask questions. Probably also best not to ask questions about why after an illegal immigrant from Niger beheaded a 1-year-old baby and killed her mother in Hamburg, German authorities responded by raiding the apartment of the guy who posted a video of the murder scene online. Probably best not to ask any more questions about this on talk shows, because Germany's Cultural Council wants to ban them entirely for a year because they dared discuss migrant-related problems. Rest assured though, ads like this will continue to be broadcast.
Ich auch. Ist doch hübsch. Enjoy difference, start tolerance.
Super easy mit Katjas. Da ist alles ohne tierische Gelatine. Achte mal drauf.
But maybe commercials aren't enough. Maybe we need to mass drug the population to make them more accepting of migrants. Probably best not to ask why Germany's Vice-Chancellor says refugees coming to Germany are more German than actual Germans who criticize their government's migrant policy.
Wirklich Pack und Mob und was man da machen muss, ist, man muss sie einsperren. Und um es mal ganz offen zu sagen, im Grunde ist jeder Flüchtling, der hierher kommt, hat mehr mit diesem Land zu tun als diese Leute.
Probably best not to make any more YouTube videos about Germany's migrant problem because they get banned in Germany. Probably best not to wave German flags because it upsets Angela Merkel. Probably best not to ask why Christian refugees are returning to Syria because they're shocked at the number of Muslim migrants in Europe who have embraced ISIS.
Die EG-Überfahrt. Weiter bis nach Österreich, da wollte er bleiben, doch es kamen erste Zweifel. Ich bin weg, weil meine Familie, wir sind Christen, alles im Krieg verloren hatte. Ich war erschrocken, als ich sah, wie viele unter den Flüchtlingen sich offen zu Al-Nusra und zum IS bekannten.
Probably best not to ask why refugee charity workers who once supported bringing in migrants now admit they were totally wrong and are moving to Poland. Probably best not to ask why migrants on boats are threatening to kill the people who rescued them because they refuse to take them to northern European welfare havens. Probably best not to make fun of Islam on social media, because as many Swedish citizens have found to their cost, it usually ends up in arrest, interrogation and conviction. But Freddie Mercury was a refugee. Elon Musk was an economic migrant. I mean, there's got to be some iconic pop stars and inventors amongst this lot, right? Your educated, middle-class, skilled immigrant friend is nice, so why not just erase all border controls? Money! Money! After all, our population is dying off. We need labour. We need tax-paying workers. Money! It's not like 85% of refugees in Holland remain unemployed 4 years later. It's not like more than half of German welfare recipients come from migrant backgrounds. And it's not like 58% of welfare payments in Sweden go to immigrants. I'm just utterly baffled as to why the 500,000 plus South Koreans who signed that petition wouldn't want any of this coming to their country. They must not believe in tolerance, diversity and human rights.
Tolerance, diversity and human rights.
Money! They must not believe in letting their culture and national identity be subsumed at the altar of political correctness. They must believe, and this is pretty shocking, in the integrity of borders and law. They must believe in South Korea staying South Korean. And can you imagine anything being more racist than that? Please click the big red button to subscribe. It really helps me when you do that. And click the bell to allow notifications so you never miss a new video. Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.